Hello and welcome to the Night Feed. I'm your host, Charlotte, here to bring you some comfort, camaraderie and conversation to keep you company during, let's face it, one of the toughest parts of being a new parent, the Night Feed. Tonight's unpaid sponsor is Pram Refusal. Don't know if you have this, but my baby doesn't like his pram, and it's new to me because my elder two were absolutely hunky-dory in the pram. They loved it. But I try lying him down in it and he's not a happy bunny. So I'm using the sling a lot more this time round, which is absolutely fine. And in a way, I actually prefer having my hands free. And I have to go and pick my 3-year-old up at midday. Yesterday, I went to put my son in the pram. I thought, come on, we're going to go in the pram today. We're going to have a walk, maybe go to the park after. No. He didn't want to go in. So I put him in the sling, and in doing so, didn't take the pram. Now, my 3-year-old this week has been super tired after nursery. She's had a bit of a bug, and she's just tired. So I pick her up, baby in the sling, and as we got to the gate towards the road from school, she says, I need you to carry me. I was like, oh, here we go. Usually I can persuade my daughters around. Usually I can say, look, we'll go home, we'll watch Peter Rabbit, I'll give you some snacks, it'll all be really nice, just walk for mummy. It's only 2 streets. It's literally 2.5 streets, so it's not too far. Oh, her little legs wouldn't move. She was in despair. Mummy, I can't walk. I need your help. You need to carry me. Oh, and a little face. And I just thought, she's not going to walk. You know, you have one of the moments and you're like, she physically is not going to walk right now. So there I was, baby in a sling, 3-year-old over the shoulder. I felt like Thor. I don't know if that's the right reference, but I felt like, you know, one of those men that compete in them world's toughest men competitions where they like lift cars and trucks. Oh my goodness. Luckily we made it. But note to self, at the moment, always take the pram if we're going for the sling as well. Anyway, how are we? Welcome to October. Today is the 1st. It's cozy season. We are well and truly in the bear months, as they are called now, apparently. And I'm just looking forward to jumpers, nice coats, blankets, hot chocolate, pumpkin spice, you know, all the things. And we had a really nice chill weekend, actually, just getting things done around the house and getting into that kind of chill, comfy, warm kind of season. And I have 2 quotes from the weekend that I just have to share with you. So first one from one of my daughters. I was upstairs just about to do some laundry, and she turns to me and says, wow, mummy, this looks like a mountain from the dinosaur times, in reference to the almighty clean washing pile I was about to tackle on my bed. And do you know what? The comparison, it wasn't far from the truth. And then on Sunday evening, all was quiet. The girls were colouring at the table. My eldest turns to me and says, look, mummy, we're pretending to be good girls. I was like, pretending? Why are you pretending? What have you got up your sleeve? Why are we pretending to be good? But oh my gosh, the things they come out with, they have me in stitches. And if you are a first-time mum with a newborn, just you wait till they come out with these crackers, because I need to start writing them down. They're so funny. Some of the things they say just makes me laugh. I have my little co-host with me again. I don't know if you can hear him. He was having a nap on me, and I was about to put him down for a nap. But as I'll come to the 4-month regression shortly, when I go and put him down at the moment, I don't know if you have this, he wakes within 5 minutes. So he's currently lay on me he's feeding, but he's on and off. So my boob's kind of in his mouth and he's coming on and off. So if you can hear little feeding noises, it's my mini co-host. But he shouldn't be too much trouble. He's quite chill. I've had some feedback recently about how the podcast relaxes some of you and reassures you in the depths of the night. So I'm throwing my hat in the ring here, and I'm going to be doing some 5-minute meditations that you can listen to on YouTube. And they're going to be along the lines of, hey, mama, you're about to lose it. Listen to this. Or, hey, take 5 and calm that anxiety. Because we all have moments as mums when everything can just feel so overwhelming. Even the most put together mums that look like they've got it all under control don't every day. Yeah, we all have our moments when it just feels like, how am I going to get through today? Whether you're ill and you have to look after the kids anyway, or you are having a stressful time at work and then you have to come home and you're like, oh my God, and you take it out on the kids by accident. And it can all come to a bit of a head, can't it? So the idea behind these meditations is you just take your phone, take yourself away, obviously when the kids are being supervised, and have 5 minutes and just calm yourself and bring yourself back down to earth and remind yourself that everything's okay. Everything's going to be okay. So I'm going to put them live today on YouTube. I'm just going to give it a go and see if they help. And I'd love to hear your thoughts and your comments. Leave a comment if you listen to it and let me know if it helps, and I'll happily do some more. So speaking then of the 4-month sleep regression, my son is 4 months tomorrow. And it's quite coincidental because these past couple of weeks, I've had a few messages from you lovely listeners about the 4-month sleep regression. And I was also reading another mum's comment in a forum yesterday about it. And I thought, maybe this is a sign to do a bit of research, because I'm potentially about to hit it. And I know talking about it now is going to jinx my son's so far so good sleep. But the 4-month sleep regression is a thing. You may not go through it. You may go through it. And I've read that the reason they go through the 4-month sleep regression is because of a big developmental shift they have between 3 and 4 months. And I've noticed it in my baby, how he's all of a sudden become so much more alert. His hand-eye coordination is getting so much better. He's putting things in his mouth. He's interacting with toys. He's beginning to roll. He's murmuring and almost trying to speak back. Like in this household, I always say, hiya, hiya. And it sounds like he's starting to say that as well, because my 3-year-old will come into him and go, hiya, hiya. And that doesn't mean hiya, by the way. That's like a colloquial term in the Northwest for hello. It's like hiya. And so I think that's potentially going to be his first word, because he really sounds like he's trying to speak. I know he's only 4 months, so it's just murmuring at the moment, but he sounds like he's trying to form like mouth movements and noises, and it's amazing to see. So it does make sense that at this age they're going through a big leap in terms of development. And it says they have this sleep regression because they're going through a biological alteration in the way they sleep rather than a regression. So it's an advancement. It just means that it does tamper with their sleep, and they're changing into more adult sleep patterns. So they have, from 4 months onwards, they go through like lighter sleep and deeper sleep patterns, which means when they wake in the night, they struggle to get back into that deep sleep that they were experiencing previously. So it's kind of like us. When you wake as an adult in the middle of the night, you may struggle to get back to sleep because you think about things and your brain's more alert. And I think what it is that as their brain develops, they become much more alert. And I've had it once or twice with my baby son, my youngest, when he'll wake at 3 and be up till 5. And luckily, that's only happened 2 or 3 times. But I remember it happening with my girls as well around this age, and there's nothing you can do. It's almost like I've changed his nappy twice. I've winded him. He's been fed both boobs. He's had a pat. He's had a rock. And there he is, just smiling up at me. And it's just because they biologically are changing in the way they sleep. And they get to this age, and yes, they will just be awake. And it can be so frustrating and so difficult. But I just want to talk about it so that you know, if you are about to go through this or you're going through it, it's nothing that you're doing wrong. It's nothing that you need to change. I know people can obsess about wake windows and is he getting enough sleep in the day? Is he not getting enough sleep? Is he overtired? Is he undertired? But basically, it's something that you can find completely exhausting and demoralizing, especially if you've had a newborn that so far has been an amazing sleeper. And you think, I don't know what the fuss is about. My baby sleeps through. What's all the fuss about? And then you hit the 4-month sleep regression and you're like, oh my goodness, the baby won't make it past 45 minutes anymore. So I've found this article on Huckleberry, and it's basically giving us some tips to navigate the 4-month sleep regression. So tip number 1 is practice having your baby fall asleep independently in their sleep space. And I think this is the whole drowsy but awake kind of, where you lay them down on the mattress and they're kind of awake, but they're about to fall asleep. And basically, if you can get them to fall asleep in that environment, the research shows that they're more likely to, when they wake, be able to self-settle again. But this is something I've always struggled with personally. I have always fed to sleep, still do feed to sleep with my son. But if you can attempt that, apparently that helps. Tip 2 is watch wake windows. It's basically just saying that most babies can comfortably stay awake for 1.5 to 2.5 hours at 4 months before the next snooze. If your little one has been awake for over 2.5 hours and still isn't showing signs of being sleepy, go ahead and try to get them asleep. Sometimes physical sleep cues can be fleeting and easy to miss. So basically, you can miss the fact that the baby needs a nap and then they become overtired. So try and watch that they're not that they're not awake for more than 2.5 hours if you can. I mean, I'm giving this advice, but as a third baby, he fits into our routine, and there can be days when I'm like, when did he nap? Whereas with my first, I was like, she napped at 9, and then she napped at 1, and then she napped at 3, and then she napped at 5. So this is coming from a mum who is not watching wake windows at the moment, but may have to soon. Tip number 3, establish a consistent bedtime routine. This is the whole calm, predictable time, darkness, maybe a bath before bed, a book. Again, this is not something I'm practicing yet with my son. We put the girls down. Well, Jason tends to put the girls to sleep. I have the baby on the sofa downstairs, feed him to sleep and snuggle him till we go up. That's kind of our routine at the moment. I personally prefer having him on me at this age in the night. In the evening before we go up to bed, and then he goes in the next to me or goes on the bed next to me. So that's my routine. But again, it says if you establish a consistent bedtime routine, it helps with their sleep cues. Tip 4, keep the bedroom dark. Tip 5, don't rush in. So it says babies can make a lot of noise in their sleep. If your child starts to stir in between sleep cycles, try giving them a little time before jumping in. Many will drift back to sleep on their own if given the chance. This is something I need to work on. When I hear him murmur or make noise, I tend to just put him on the boob at night. And maybe I am training him to have more feeds than he needs. So that is an interesting one that we all need to think about, that just because they're murmuring doesn't mean they're waking. They could just be dreaming or. And I did actually do that one night with him when I was really trying to see if that would help. And he was murmuring for about 5 minutes and he went back off. But I did it another night and he was murmuring for 5 minutes and then completely woke himself up and was awake. So it's just such a fine line. And I think you just have to go with your gut. If they sound like they're waking, I would go in and, feed them or do whatever you usually do. But if they sound like they're just murmuring, it's maybe worth leaving them and seeing if they go back off. Next tip says set realistic expectations. There are plenty of steps you can take to improve your baby's sleep around 3 or 4 months. However, chances are sleep won't be flawless at this age. Not all babies can learn to consistently fall asleep on their own yet. The skill takes time, and not all babies are physiologically able to do they're not able to do this until 5 or 6 months of age. So basically, don't beat yourself up if you are going through the 4-month sleep regression. It is normal, it is natural, it happens to many of us. You may get lucky and it may not happen, and my fingers are crossed that my son continues with his pretty good sleep routine, but we shall see. Next tonight is an email I received, and it says, "Do you have an early morning routine? Hi Charlotte, I'm intrigued. Do you have an early pre-baby morning wake-up routine? I see so many videos of new mums getting ahead of the day by setting an alarm to wake before the baby so they can shower and do skincare, have a coffee in peace, etc. I struggle with the thought of this as I am not, in capital letters, a morning person. I wondered, are you? From a very, in capital letters, sleep-deprived mama. Do I have a pre-baby morning routine? No, in capital letters. Absolutely not. I sleep as silently and as long as I can before either my 4, 3 or 4-month-old wake me. Because it's going to be one of them. No, I don't set an alarm. I definitely don't do that. I've never been a really early riser, to be honest. I used to do a networking event when I was a marketing consultant, and that was at 6:30 a.m. I think it started, or 7 a.m. and I'd get up at 5:30 for that, and honestly it felt like pain. And the other time I used to get up really early was when I worked as a flight attendant at university part-time, and I'd have to get up at 3:30 for early morning flights. And again, that was a time I established that I was not in fact a morning person. So in this season of my life, when I've got 3 under 5 and sleep is, few and far between, I'm not going to wake myself up. I am more than happy to be woken up by one of my children. I am happy to have my coffee with them. I'm happy to do my skincare with them. Not that my skincare is very routine at the moment, if I'm completely honest. But no, I don't. And if you are one of those mums that does have an early morning routine, good for you. I've seen some videos where mums will sit and have a coffee for half an hour and journal. But I'm taking the sleep where I can. I actually prefer having a bit of time with Jason of an evening and having that kind of downtime where we can catch up and chat and then go up to bed a bit later. So I quite like the fact that I sleep usually till about 7 when they wake us, and I'm not waking up before that. No way. So there you go. Hope that answers your question. I'm not a morning routine mum. I came across quite a funny post in a forum yesterday, and I just thought I'd share it. It says, "What weird things have you been doing for your baby? Just found out my 2-week-old loves air supply," which for listeners like me who didn't know what or who this is, they're a rock duo, Air Supply. "He's been tough to put to sleep, but once we put Air Supply on, he is out cold before the chorus. My wife swears it's because she's blasted their albums all through her pregnancy while working. What odd little things have you ended up doing or found out work for your tiny boss at home?" I love that, tiny boss at home. I've definitely got 3 tiny bosses at home. So I read this and it occurred to me, I had to think what strange thing I've been doing this time. And it's not really strange. It's just a little thing that works for getting him to sleep at the moment. And it's particularly during naps in the day. What I've found is I lay him on my chest upright, and he likes a bum pat. So I do a little bum pat. And then this is going to sound really weird, but I make like a low humming sound, almost like a like that, because I know in yoga the noise that you make, like my mum's told me, is like a vibration through the body. So I've been doing kind of like a low hum, like a while he's on my chest. And that hum almost like vibrates through his body. It sends him off to sleep. I've had a few nights where he's been really narky and I've been stood rocking him and I've been stood holding him because I know he's one of those babies that likes to be up, so I have to stand with him. Anyway, lay him on my chest, started the bum part, started the hum. He was out within a minute. So maybe worth a try. A weird and wonderful thing for you there. A few of the other answers in this forum for you now. Playing looped videos of people vacuuming when all else fails loudly. And then the next person's put garbage truck compilations here. And then someone's put talking in deep villainous voices. She loves it. Lights up like it's the best thing ever. Another person put, my husband has been listening to strictly death metal for the past couple of years and would drive me crazy with it during my pregnancy. Now our baby and our dog are soothed by it and have a preference for it while in the car. Now I suppose I must strengthen my neck for headbanging because if you can't beat them, join them. And then a cry emoji. I would second that cry emoji, poor thing. Oh my Lord. Next one is opening and closing and shaking a bag of Stacey's pita chips behind my baby's head while I wear her. It is an instant soothing technique for my little one. And then someone else has put, I had a bag of crisps on the couch behind one of my twins yesterday, and anytime I reached in to grab a crisp, he was so excited about it. Hopefully that continues. Not mad about an excuse to eat some crisps. And then someone's replied to this, I have a baby sound machine and one of the white noise options is someone eating crisps. So that is legit. There you go. Who knew? And the last one says, I sing to my son and rock him to sleep, but sometimes all that works is the Oompa Loompa song, which I have to make up words to because I don't know any of the real words. Well, learn it because that's an absolute banger. Slight interruption there, apologies. I don't know what it is. Every time I sit down to this podcast, there is a delivery. And it's always something that I don't want to just leave outside. And I just went to the door then. And just to give you context for how I am recording this podcast, I've got the baby breastfeeding. I'm in my pajamas. My hair is like a nest. And I mean like unreal. And I just answered the door to the delivery man. And you know when someone like looks you up and down, you're like, yeah, I felt that. Oh my goodness. Embarrassing. Anyway, back to it. He's back on the move. You may hear some noises because he's obviously been awoken by that disturbance. Next is what's trending. And I'm on the Jay Shetty bandwagon at the moment, listening to his On Purpose podcast. I don't know if you've come across it, but he has some really interesting parenting guests on. And I came across this interview with a lady called Dr. Aliza Pressman. And she actually has a podcast herself called Motherkind, which I think is like number one in the parenting charts constantly. And she actually shared some really, really interesting points that I think may calm you as a parent. I think in this day and age, we're all trying to do so much good for our kids that when we do snap or we do have a minute, we can feel awful for it. And it was almost like as mums, we carry so much pressure to get it right every moment of the day. And this episode just reminded me that parenting isn't about perfection. It's about connection. It's about reflection and the little choices we make each day. So the key takeaways I had was you got to start with reflection. And parenting begins long before the endless decisions of daily life. And she encouraged us to think about the why behind how we want to raise our children, the values we want to pass on. So not just like the nitty-gritty every day. It's actually thinking about the kind of parent we want to be. And she talks about, in this instance, secure attachment over perfection. And she says that being perfect is actually damaging for your kids. So if you're a mother that wants to be constantly perfect, it's almost setting a really unrealistic expectation for your child. It's not about never getting it wrong. What matters most is being present, building trust, and repairing when things don't go smoothly. The secure bond that you create with your child is what helps them to thrive ultimately. And I feel this sometimes at the moment when my eldest, my 4-year-old, is going through such huge emotions. And she comes in and apologizes to me for being angry. She says, I'm sorry I was angry. I don't know why I was angry. And I, in that instance, say to her, well, I get angry too, don't I? We all have these feelings. We all get angry. We all get sad. We're all happy at times, And I think by me setting the example of, yes, sometimes I do get a bit angry, she sees that, but then also realizes, well, I'm also a kind person and a nice mum. And I'm not just always angry, and that it's okay to feel that. Whereas if I was like this perfect robot Stepford wife that never showed emotion, she wouldn't be able to see that being angry is a normal human emotion that we all feel at times. And she also spoke about discipline and how boundaries are there to guide, not punish. So discipline is most effective when it helps children learn and feel safe rather than fearful. So it's about putting those boundaries in place that's sometimes really difficult. Going through a sweet shop and not letting them have a sweet, yes, is torturous. But we were out the other day in a garden centre and we just had a lovely meal. We walked, obviously exit through the gift shop, as you do, walked past this massive Halloween display with all the chocolates and sweets you could possibly imagine, like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. But they'd had the food and they'd had a little treat already. And they were just gravitated to this chocolate stand, as any child would, as I would have. And it would have been so easy in that instant for me to say, yeah, sure, pick something, whatever. But I was like, no, sorry, you've had your treat. And they were, oh, please, just one little small thing. And I was like, no, I'm sorry, you've had it. You've had your treat for today. And in those moments, it's about standing firm and not feeling mean and not feeling like, oh, God, I'm just such a mean mum. I'm actually a really good mum for stopping them from having another treat and for making them realise that you can't have every single thing you see. Because do you know what? In this day and age, it is easy to give them treats. You go to Home Bargain or the pound shop, oh my goodness, you could get them a Christmas present list's worth of toys for under a tenner. So it is easy to gift them. And it's just setting them boundaries and making them realise that no, you can't always have that. Like at the moment as well, talking about boundaries, I'm trying to just have the TV as a screen for them. And they've not gone for my phone lately. They've not gone for my phone to watch something. They just know that the TV is what they watch. And the iPad's gone away in a drawer. And they've not missed it. So that is, yes, difficult at times. But it's great to have boundaries in place because, like this psychologist says, it makes them feel secure. She also said the little things add up. So tiny everyday moments create a strong foundation. From small chats to shared rituals, these ordinary experiences are what help our children feel secure and resilient. Even things that may seem mundane to you, like brushing our teeth or getting our socks on or putting our school shoes on at the door, they're all things that add up and help them feel secure. Like, oh yeah, this is happening. This is what we do every day. This is our routine. So listening to this reminded me that being a good mum doesn't mean being a perfect mum. Our children don't need perfection. They need us to show up with love, set gentle boundaries, and just trust that the small things really do matter. So if you're looking for something to listen to this week, I'd highly recommend this interview. She's called, let me get her name back again, Dr. Aliza Pressman. And that's Aliza, and she's on Jay Shetty's On Purpose podcast. Finally tonight is my self-care suggestion. And this is called the 2-song rule. Came across it online, so I'd share it. And you basically pick 2 songs that you absolutely love. The cheesier, the better. So like think Spice Girls, Beyonce. And once a day, put the baby somewhere safe. So like cot, bouncer, pram. pop your headphones in, or you don't have to pop your headphones in, you can play it loud and proud, and just move. So dance, stretch, pace the kitchen, lip sync or voice sing, whatever, to 2 songs, which is about 7 minutes. Short enough for the baby to be happy enough where you've put them, and long enough to reset your whole mood. And it feels silly, but it's a powerful little daily ritual that gets your body moving, lifts your energy, and reminds you that, you know what, you still exist outside nappies and night feeds. Plus, it's way harder to be sad or anxious when you're aggressively lip syncing wannabe, isn't it? Finally, to finish on a quote I wrote. Tonight we cried together, Mama. It was 3:45 a.m. and you were beyond exhausted. As you rocked me, tears streamed down your cheeks. I clung to your pyjama top, my safe space. We're 3 weeks into this journey together and I've never felt more content knowing you. Seeing your face, your features, after only knowing your voice and heartbeat for 9 months. When you cry and get frustrated, I know it's because this is all so new and overwhelming. It is to me too, Mama. I hear you beat yourself up about the mess in the kitchen, the laundry pile that grows every day, the hair you've not washed and the pyjamas that you've not changed, but none of this matters to me. This is our season to be messy, to be tired, to be sad at times, but also the season you'll look back on and yearn to be in again. It's not all smooth, but our time spent together in the depths of the night will now be one day a hazy blur, full of love. Thanks for listening this evening. I hope wherever you are in the world, you are okay, that your night feeds aren't taking too long and you're getting enough sleep in between them. And if you have any questions, any stories, anything you'd like to share on the podcast, please drop me an email, thenightfeedpodcast@gmail.com. I love hearing from you guys. I'll always respond to your emails. And I wish you all a restful, peaceful night ahead. Good night.